people, it's Traci Reed here today, coming at you with a fun layout with a throwback collection from last year called Bright Sunshiny Day. It's a collaboration I did with Studio Basic Designs, and it is super bright and colorful, and I chose to pair it with these sort of neutral photos of Finn and I, just to pep up the photos a little bit and make the whole thing bright and sunshiny like I wanted the vibe of the layout to be. So you can see I am taking these photos that I printed individually and just stacking them up on top of each other like they're a photo strip, which I then adhered to this striped paper so that they would all stay in one piece. And I'm going to repeat the process I just did with the striped paper, and I'm going to rip this blue paper in the same way. So I'm just going to glue it down and then very dramatically and quickly rip that piece off, because I didn't actually really truly care how the rip came out, because I knew I could move this over if I needed to, which I ended up doing, and then trimming. As long as the rip didn't go underneath the other rip so that it like came out from behind it and poked back out again, I was happy. I thought maybe I would want the rips to be on opposite sides, but that did not look good, so I'm putting it back down. And I'm going to rip one more of these papers. I decided 3 mats would be good. You can never have too much patterned paper in my world, so there we go. I chose to build my layout off of these 2 painty backgrounds by Studio Basic in the collection. They actually do not go together, like they're not one single paper, but the way that they go together on this layout, they look like sort of a continuation of the painty paper on either side, so I thought that that worked out well. Plus we've got that yellow in the background, and Finn's favorite color is yellow, so it was my nod to him in that color choice. So I've got all 3 of my patterned papers torn and ready to go. I kind of, looking back, wish that I had kept the mats the full height of the spread. I think it might have been a little bit visually better, at least for my tendencies, but I ended up camouflaging it well enough that it wasn't a big deal at the end. But that top and bottom portion of the layout really bothered me to begin with. Not a big deal. I do end up moving the whole mat so that it's a little bit more centered. I'm going to use this journal card as my journaling spot. Thought about maybe adding in some of that patterned paper on that side too, but I let the painty paper speak for itself instead. And I've got some of the stickers from the Bright Sunshiny Day sticker pack already done. So what I did is I actually pulled this out of my stash. I did not reprint anything, so I've already used this collection a few times, and so I have less stickers to choose from than I would if this was a brand new print. But I was okay with that because I had more than enough. There's more than enough stickers on each sticker sheet for way more than one layout, more like 2, 3. I can get 4 or 5 layouts out of all of the product included in each of these collections, so I had way more than enough to make an adorable layout. I wanted to focus on these rainbows as well as some of the florals too, so I'm going to interweave both of those themes throughout this spread. And of course a couple hearts too, because it is my baby. Trying to camouflage that bottom separation a little bit better, so that's why I'm fussing around with that word bit so much. And of course I wanted this I've got sunshine. This whole layout is just about how Finn always asks, okay, now a silly one, when we take selfies. He is raised with Snapchat filters. He's that generation, so he loves all the Snapchat filters, but he also loves making goofy faces. And so we took one cheesy smile, a silly picture, and then the last one is us laughing at the silly picture. So it tells its own little adorable story, so it worked for me. Trying not to cover up his head too much with this heart, but I did want that I've got sunshine to line that photo so that there was no trapped white space. Now I have 3 floral clusters left from the original print of this collection, so I'm going to use all 3 of them. And what I'm going to do to ground this journal card is I'm going to have embellishment clusters reach the top and the bottom of the page. So I'm just kind of pre-deciding what I want to put there without making any actual choices yet. And even now, I do decide to do it this way and then change it up just a little bit towards the end. So now I'm going to start sticking things down. One of the ways that I like to incorporate embellishments into clusters is with a lot of weaving in the embellishments on top of and underneath other embellishments. So this one's going to slide underneath the floral, and then this ampersand is going to be underneath the floral too, but on top of the heart, and that creates the illusion of more depth than if I, had more of a loose stacking order or didn't take the time to slide that ampersand up underneath the floral. It just creates, it like tightens up the cluster and creates just a little bit more visual interest and makes everything feel more cohesive than if I spread things out too much. And you'll see me do the same with this rainbow. I moved it down to be on top of that word strip so that there was no trapped white space. Trying to decide what I want to put down here, and while I like the ampersand, it didn't have enough visual impact for me, so now I'm going to include this banner instead, and you can see how it wraps around this heart and is that same concept of creating depth through layering. So now I'm just going to finish this up. I'm going to add in my journaling off camera so that I can concentrate. It always gets so nerve-wracking when I'm trying to write when the camera's rolling, so I'm going to take it and create my journaling off camera and then come back. And instead of incorporating a title, I decided to emphasize the first part of my journaling. Sorry, I'm trying to decide what I want to do here, but I'm going to take it off camera in a second. All right, so I decided to emphasize the top part of my journaling so that it is almost like a title in itself. So I created like a little subtitle sort of title rather than trying to pull out letter stickers and add in a title, because I wanted the title to be, okay, now let's do a silly one, which would have required a lot of letter stickers and a lot of finagling. So instead I just wrote it out in a different sort of handwriting than I did the rest of the journaling, and it worked. Last thing I'm doing is incorporating these enamel dots into the layout that are from Cocoa Daisy but just happen to match these colors, and I am all set. So if you enjoyed this photo or this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well, and I will leave a link to the Bright Sunshiny Day collection in the description box below. All right, thank you.